Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to a brand new video here today, and we're here today with 5 things I love about F1 2019 career mode. Yes, things that I love. It's very rare on YouTube to make videos like this, about showing some appreciation for video games or anything really, because YouTube can be quite a negative place, but I thought since we did 5 things I think need to be fixed for F1 2019 career, not exactly hate, just fixed or tweaked in F1 2019 career mode, a few days ago. If you missed that video, by the way, there's going to be a link in the top right there, cheeky plug, but I thought I'd do the complete opposite then and show off 5 things that I genuinely think are a great addition to this year's game, and if you haven't, really realised that yet, then it might be, worth pointing out in this video, basically. We're going to start off with number 1, and this might be the biggest thing that's come to an F1 game in absolute years. It's a real game changer, something that everyone's been asking for time and time again, and every single year we got denied it, but the driver transfers is got to be the biggest thing that I love about this game. The fact that for seasons to come now, 10 seasons in, we'll get driver transfers not only at the end of each season, but in the middle. I personally have got a small transfer of Perez and Hulkenberg swapping, but some of you guys have got some bonkers transfers very early on in season 1, halfway through or 3/4 of the way through, the likes of Sebastian Vettel swapping from Ferrari, Hamilton going places, Verstappen. It's just great. It's the thing that we've been asking for years, like I said, and it's that thing that was always missing, that I always said if we did get that, it would be very much almost a complete career mode in a way, because we have a lot of great things in career mode that have already been there, that have been polished, but that was just one large thing that was always missing. You look at games like FIFA, NBA, all the sports games really in reality, and all the ones that do career mode well have these transfers, have this organic world that's able to evolve over years, and F1 just never had it. You always basically repeated the same season over and over again. Yes, you had cars going up and down, but it was kind of weird to see always, drivers being the exact same team for 10 years, Hamilton staying in Merc for 10 years, Kimi being in Ferrari for 10 years if we go off last year's game. But now to see these swaps and to see the eventuality of, we've been told by the end of season 10, the hopeful, the way it works is the name stays go down the order and the kind of new blood goes up to the top cars. It's just brilliant, and it's really great to see, and it's something they sprung on us as well, so that makes it even better. The fact we didn't know about it, no advertisements, and day one playing the game, oh hang on, it's a thing, really? It just made it so much better and just crazy to see, really. Quite fittingly, for number 2 is going to be Formula 2 and the story mode aspect they brought to career mode. Now, I know this will be a sore subject for some people, because some people are kind of annoyed that there wasn't more of F2 in the career mode, but for what it is in the career mode, giving you a little bit of a nice story right before you start off your normal F1 career mode, I think it is really nice. I kind of like it to how, I think it's NBA or I can't remember, MLB The Show, I think I want to say, where they have like a season of, they have a whole season of like a story mode, and then they continue on with normal career mode. So this wasn't a full season, but it was like 3 little scenarios, some great cutscenes. You get these characters of Lucas Weber and Devin Butler now plugged into your game, and although there are some tweaking issues to do with the F2 drivers in terms of being quite fast, the actual concept of that story mode and the way they implemented it was really quite slick, really nicely polished. I enjoyed the story modes. I enjoyed the scenarios of losing your turbo on the first lap, having to make that decision, being knocked out with your front wing, having to come back there, and then the final race, which is the full, sprint mode race, just having to beat your rival and win the F2 championship. I really enjoyed how everything was actually nicely done. The cutscenes were amazing. Obviously, if anything, just need more of it, but obviously that's always the saying, leave them wanting more. It's always better to do less than too much, and want, have people craving it. So the cutscenes that they did have were all really well made. So, kudos to Cody's, and just hopefully, for next year's game, we can get even more stuff like that and a bit of a bigger story mode. Of course, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but for me personally, that is something I did love about F1 2019 career mode this year, was having that nice starter. It just felt fresh, F1 career modes were getting a little bit samey at the start of the season for the last 2-3 games of, 2016, 17, 18. Yes, the R&D and all that aspect changed, but the very start was, you go to Australia and you get going. It's kind of nice to have that breather of, hang on, we've got these new cars, new, handling of the F2 cars, you've got these wacky scenarios, these different characters, and it was just a nice starter. Number 3 is going to be how aggressive the AI can be in the races now this year. Now, it might just still be me getting used to the game, but I do feel like the AI are that little bit more aggressive. They will go for those little dive bombs you didn't think they would go for in F1 2018. They follow you now to try and grab slipstream off you on the straight, and generally speaking, they just look a bit more realistic on track as well. Like, even when you're not racing them, AI on AI. I've seen so many battles ahead of me on a straight, AI versus AI, well, they'll literally, duck left and then go right very aggressively, like you would expect maybe in real life there, and make a brilliant little move, and they've had so many, I've witnessed many great side-by-side battles already in career mode. That was the case in 2018, but they just seem a bit more frequent now in F1 2019, and when they do happen, you can see the aggression there, some contact being made, some cars being shoved off here and there, and on the player, they aren't afraid to make the big dive bombs, obviously, especially if you're going a little bit slow and tentative, and you leave the door open. They will very much try and go through that door this time, whereas last year, they very much did kind of get spooked off the line, and even if you left them room, more often than not, they wouldn't go for that space, whereas now they will go for that gap. Obviously, if you try and defend it a bit more harshly, then they won't be able to do it, but if you do leave them the gap and you leave yourself vulnerable, this time you will be punished for it effectively in this year's game, and it's just good to see have a bit more of an aggressive fight with the AI. The ARS is very difficult, I will say, in this year's game, very hard to manage, and that means the AI are always constantly on you. It always feels like I'm on none ERS a lot more than the AI, which is a little bit annoying here and there, but also at the same time gives a great challenge, and I'm not going to take it for granted, because we flash forward a few months, there's the easy case of complaining that the AI are too easy, so it's great to see they are very punchy with the ARS as well, and you really have to work at it of managing it, and it's a real task that you have to try and learn. It's a big learning curve, and it's something that I think will take me a few seasons, which is going to be great, because I felt like with F1 2018 I kind of got on top of the AI by about season 3, I would say. I felt very comfortable with them, whereas I feel like it's going to take me even more than that to fully try and suss out maybe the kind of ways to kind of you know what I mean. Eventually you kind of suss out when you can kind of break a little bit later, maybe try and catch the AI napping somewhat a few corners here and there. What's the best way to use ERS? I feel like it'll take longer to suss it out. You always will suss it out in these F1 games, you always do, but I think on this year's game you really will take a little bit longer to try and suss that out. At least I will, I think. Number 4 is going to be the AI R&D progress. Now this is a bit of an odd one, because I did say this was something that needed to be fixed, which was the R&D progress. I feel like the player can upgrade way too quickly, but one thing I have noticed is the AI do also have a chance to upgrade quickly. The likes of Williams definitely do upgrade quite rapidly. In my career mode personally, Williams are right there with my team Alfa Romeo, fighting in the midfield with Renault Racing Point car. I've seen other people tweeting me screenshots of the kind of bottom few teams really rapidly increasing, and also you got the top 3 fight there. You've seen Ferrari, Mercedes and Red Bull kind of intertwine a little bit. In my career mode is the fact that Ferrari started fastest, Mercedes have now got this bit of an advantage, but Ferrari comes back a little bit, and it's just good to see that it does seem that a little bit the AI are a little bit better at the R&D progress. Last year it was a little bit slow, and you could always try and very much overtake them, but now I've got this kind of case of, I'm saving R&D points for the reset, and so the AI teams are coming back at me and upgrading just as quickly as me, and that was something that Lee Mather did say that they did try to tweak to make sure the AI try and step it up a little bit and try and keep pace with you there, and I have noticed it somewhat even after one season, so it will be good to see how it progresses over a few seasons, when we get to the stage where maybe teams are plateauing towards the top end, that diminishing return if it continues on, but for now, I like what I'm seeing with the AI R&D upgrades. And number 5, it's going to be a bit of a smaller one here in terms of compared to the other ones, but sometimes the smaller things do matter with F1 games, is the customization, the helmet editor. You've got the gloves, the overalls. Obviously, a lot of that is to do with Ultimate Multiplayer, the way you're viewed in multiplayer, but the fact that the helmet is now displayed a lot more kind of prominently in that customization tab, you can see it a lot closer, and it might not be the same thing exactly for those of you on consoles, but for PC players as well, to see the helmet so close up in that menu is really cool when you start modding stuff. But even the options they do have on this year's game, I feel a little bit better in terms of some of the actual designs, especially when you see them on board. I feel like a little bit better. Personally, for me, obviously, you guys have seen I've not modded in my helmet quite yet, because I actually just like the helmet I've got right now. It works well with the Alfa Romeo car, and the general customization, like I said, with the gloves and the overalls as well, is just great to see, and hopefully we just get a bit more of that eventually as we go on through. Also, it reminds me, the player faces as well, a lot more options for player faces. I personally went with the same one I had last year, because it just looks a bit more similar to me, but a lot more options in terms of the player face as well, so just they steadily are improving that area of the game, and hopefully it just continues, basically. So that's been 5 things that I love about F1 2019 career mode. I mean, obviously I love things a bit more, some things more than others. I love the freaking driver transfers, that's just amazing, and obviously I kind of like the helmet editor, but yeah, I just thought I'd change things up. We went a little bit more negative and a bit more critical of the career mode with the last video we did a few days ago, and so I thought I'd do the vice versa and say what I love, because like I said, with the number 1, that's one of the biggest things we've had. Number 1, driver transfers, it's just such a big thing and a big deal for me at least, and hopefully it is for a lot of you guys, because literally it's been years of everyone in the comments below barking about driver transfers, and it's finally here, so I feel like I don't want to take it for granted. I think we shouldn't take it for granted, the fact it's come in, because it has been such a long time coming, so I feel like, it needs to be shouted about in this kind of video, and kind of compliment and kind of versus the other video I did a few days ago, like I said. But guys, if you did enjoy this video and did agree with those points, then be sure to hit the like button. Let me know in the comments below if you think I've missed something that you guys are enjoying about F1 2019 career that I have missed out there, and let me know what your thoughts were on my top 5 there for what I said in the video. If you're new around here though, do get subscribed for weekly full-on content. I've been aarava. Have a good day. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.